If there's anything to be found in the shaft, it might be there. I think it's worth running a metal detector.
Yes.
For over 200 years, Oak Island has been a riddle no one could solve. They said its secrets were buried forever. But at Smith's Cove, that promise just shattered. Rick Lagina may have uncovered nearly $110 million in gold, hidden beneath a deadly maze of engineered flood tunnels, built not just to protect treasure, but to punish intruders. What's been found isn't legend or theory. It's real gold, precision stonework, and proof of an operation far beyond 18th century limits. Oak Island didn't give this up willingly. So why now? And who built something this dangerous to protect it? Subscribe and turn on notifications, because once you see what was uncovered at Smith's Cove, there's no turning back.
I really would like to see what's at the bottom of that shaft.
So the hope is that once we get down 50, 60 feet, we'll be able to drill horizontally, vertically.
Yep.
Let's dive in. Here's the thing. Nature doesn't make perfect rectangles. But what the team found was exactly that. A massive structure measuring roughly 30 feet long and 10 feet wide, buried deep beneath the island. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the tension in every breath. Rick Lagina made the call to lower a colossal 10-foot-wide steel caisson, a giant metal cylinder designed to seal off the cursed floodwaters that had sabotaged treasure hunters for generations. The price tag was staggering, millions of dollars, but compared to what might lie below, it was a risk worth taking. As the oscillator drilled downward, Oak Island pushed back. The machinery groaned as it tore through stubborn blue clay and massive granite boulders. Then suddenly, the sound changed. This wasn't stone anymore. It was metal scraping against metal. The engine was shut down immediately. Silence fell. Rick, Marty, and the team gathered at the shaft's edge, peering into darkness. A high-definition camera was lowered into the damp, narrow throat of the caisson. At first, the image was blurry. Dust, moisture, shadows. Then the picture sharpened. What appeared on the screen stopped everyone cold. It wasn't a chest, it was a wall. A towering man-made wall of gold bars, stacked from floor to ceiling. The camera light reflected off the metal with a heavy, muted glow. This wasn't loose treasure scattered over time. This was organized, intentional, a stronghold of wealth. Based on visible volume alone, experts estimated the value at nearly $110 million. And that was only what the camera could see. But the discovery came with a warning. As the camera drifted left, it revealed a massive slab of hand-cut granite sealing the chamber. Carved into it were strange symbols, part Templar cross, part pirate iconography. This wasn't decoration. It was a message. They hadn't just found the treasure, they had activated it. Suddenly, surface instruments spiked. Something enormous was moving underground. We like to imagine pirates as chaotic, drunken outlaws. But whoever built this system were engineers of frightening brilliance. The moment the chamber was breached, Oak Island's dormant defense network sprang to life. A deep rumble vibrated through the steel walls of the caisson. Craig Tester was the first to notice the problem. The water level was rising fast. This wasn't a slow leak. This was a violent surge. The newly exposed chamber was directly connected to the infamous Smith's Cove flood tunnels, ancient passageways packed with coconut fiber and stone, engineered to channel seawater straight from the Atlantic into the treasure pit the moment it was disturbed. The cruelty of the design was in its timing. It let intruders see the treasure, feel the victory, and then it tried to drown them. Panic spread. Nearly $110 million in gold lay exposed as the ocean rushed in to reclaim it. This was no longer an excavation. It was a battle between modern technology and 18th century ingenuity. Industrial-grade pumps were deployed, the kind used to drain swamps and disaster zones. Their engines screamed as they fought the incoming flood. For hours, neither side gained ground. Water rose, pumps pushed back, over and over again. Even Rick, usually the calm anchor of the team, looked shaken. Gold could survive water, but the chamber held more than gold. Cameras had revealed wooden chests and leather-bound artifacts that salt water would destroy instantly. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about saving history. With time running out, the team made a critical call. They couldn't stop the flooding, but they could try to outrun it. A high-speed winch system was rushed into place. The operation turned into a desperate grab-and-go mission. A diver was sent down into the violently rising shaft, the most dangerous dive ever attempted on the show. Visibility was zero. The diver later said he had to navigate by touch alone, feeling through mud, debris, and solid gold. One by one, 40-pound bars were hauled to the surface, each one swinging like a piece of history ripped from the past. Then everything went wrong. The diver signaled frantically. Water wasn't just flooding in from the tunnels anymore, the floor itself was cracking. The combined pressure of the caisson and the flood system was destabilizing the cavern. They were standing on a thin shell above a churning abyss, and just as the diver secured the final chest, the ground collapsed. A second, deeper chamber opened beneath them. The gold was finally safe, stacked in the mud under the Nova Scotian sun, gleaming like something unreal. But the true shock didn't come from the bars. It came from the last chest. Instead of jewels, it was filled with ledgers, thick accounting books made of cedar, sealed with beeswax and lead strips. When Rick opened it, the scent of aged paper and tobacco filled the air. These weren't journals. They were financial records. Once decoded, written in a complex mix of Masonic symbols and naval shorthand, the truth emerged. Pirates weren't just burying loot. They were running a system. Captain Kidd, Blackbeard, Henry Avery. According to the documents, they weren't lone criminals. They were shareholders in a massive transatlantic criminal banking network. Oak Island wasn't a hiding spot. It was a central reserve vault. The ledgers detailed deposits from Caribbean raids, investments in legitimate colonial businesses in New York and Boston, and even bribes paid to high-ranking British naval officers. These men weren't just pirates. They were financial architects, and the $110 million, it wasn't the full fortune. A slip found alongside the gold labeled it clearly, Reserve Fund B. If this was only a backup account, where was the main capital? Maps inside the chest revealed trade routes, safe harbors, and additional vault locations across the globe. And suddenly, the symbols carved into the granite slab made sense. They pointed to the Knights Templar lineage, or at least their financial descendants. Ancient banking knowledge repurposed to launder pirate wealth. Even the gold bars told the story. Alongside Spanish markings was a unique seal, a skull laid over a square and compass. And among the names listed in the final pages, one belonged to a direct ancestor of a sitting US politician. The team realized this was no longer just about a mysterious island in Nova Scotia. Oak Island was the hub of a global network. The recovered maps pointed to locations around the world, a volcanic Caribbean island, a Louisiana swamp, a hidden catacomb in Madagascar. The syndicate had spread its wealth strategically. If one vault fell, the others would survive. That explained everything. The flood tunnels, pressure plates, box drains. This wasn't paranoia, it was state-of-the-art security for its time. But the documents revealed something darker. The syndicate didn't disappear because it was discovered. It collapsed from within. Betrayal, power struggles, relentless pursuit by the Royal Navy. The men who knew how the system worked died or were executed, taking the secrets with them. The treasure remained untouched, as history forgot it ever existed. When historians examined the Madagascar coordinates, the result was staggering. The location matched descriptions of Libertalia, the legendary pirate republic long dismissed as myth. These records suggest it was real, and it was financed by Oak Island gold. Now Rick and Marty face an impossible decision. Do they continue digging for the main capital hinted at in the ledgers, or take the hunt worldwide? The money alone is life-changing. But the historical significance is priceless, and one final detail changes everything. The documents describe a fail-safe. If the Oak Island vault was ever breached, a signal was meant to be sent to the other branches. And that raises one terrifying question. The pirates themselves are long gone, but that didn't stop the team from asking an unsettling question. What if their defenses weren't? Could mechanical fail-safes still be active after centuries? And worse, could disturbing one vault trigger a chain reaction somewhere else in the world? The level of interconnected engineering behind this syndicate is so advanced that even modern science struggles to fully explain it. Then something unexpected happened. Radar scans of the nearby swamp suddenly revealed the exact same rectangular anomaly previously detected at Smith's Cove. The match was undeniable. That was the moment everything changed. From here on out, the team knew they had to slow down and rely strictly on hard science, because that's what separates a real discovery from folklore or a campfire myth. This was no longer about rumors or questionable treasure maps. Before a single drill ever touched the ground, the team had deployed muon tomography, one of the most advanced scanning technologies available. It uses cosmic particles from outer space to measure underground density, essentially an X-ray of the Earth itself. When the results came back, they were impossible to ignore. A massive high-density anomaly lit up the screen exactly where Smith's Cove sat. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't ambiguous. It appeared as a bright red target. Skeptics were quick to dismiss it. Some claimed it was just dense, bedrock, compacted clay, or a naturally occurring formation. Others joked it was a malfunction in the equipment. They were wrong. Dr. Spooner, the team's lead geoscientist, analyzed water samples pulled from the borehole, and what he found was staggering. The chemical composition was wildly abnormal. This wasn't mild contamination. The groundwater contained trace amounts of gold, silver, and zinc at concentrations thousands of times higher than what should naturally exist. This effect is known as a chemical halo. It forms when large quantities of metal sit submerged underground for centuries, slowly leaching microscopic particles into the surrounding water table. Over time, this creates a detectable metallic signature, one that modern science can finally identify. Nature doesn't create that kind of fingerprint by accident. You don't get that precise blend of precious metals from a random cavity in the ground. And then, the discovery took a darker turn. The tests also revealed unusually high levels of mercury. Historically, mercury was used in Spanish colonies to process gold. But here, its presence suggested something far more sinister. Pirates were known to use mercury as part of deadly booby traps. Because liquid mercury is extremely heavy and highly toxic, pouring it over buried platforms or chests created a lethal barrier. Anyone digging would release it instantly, flooding the shaft with poison. That confirmed it. This wasn't just a place to store treasure. It was a chemically engineered kill zone, designed to seriously injure or kill anyone who wasn't meant to be there. Then came the analysis of the gold itself. Metallurgical testing revealed something crucial. The bars weren't uniform. Some bore Spanish royal markings, others were clearly French. Several were crude, hand-poured ingots with no stamps at all, likely melted-down loot from captured ships, intentionally stripped of origin. That mix wasn't random. It was the smoking gun. This wasn't one pirate crew hiding a lucky score. This was a massive, organized accumulation of wealth gathered from across the world and funneled into a single, remote island in the North Atlantic. Which brings us to the question that won't go away. Did Rick Lagina just help expose one of the greatest secrets in history? The gold is real, the documents are undeniable, and everything we thought we knew about piracy may need to be rewritten. And yet, despite everything uncovered so far, the most disturbing truth may be this. Oak Island might not be finished revealing its secrets, because it was never designed to be fully understood by outsiders in the first place. Every layer peeled back only exposes another question beneath it. The gold, the flood tunnels, the chemical traps, the global maps. None of it feels accidental, none of it feels improvised. This was a system, a living, breathing operation, built with foresight, redundancy, and ruthless intelligence. Whoever engineered it thought generations ahead. They planned not only for discovery, but for failure, betrayal, and survival beyond their own lifetimes. That realization alone forces a chilling possibility. If Oak Island was meant to function as a central node, then its defenses were never simply about protecting gold. They were about protecting information, control, power. The team now faces a reality few treasure hunters ever confront. This is no longer a question of what is buried underground. It's about who designed something so advanced that modern engineers are still struggling to fully map it. The flood tunnels don't behave like primitive traps. The pressure systems respond dynamically. The chemical signatures are layered, intentional, and precise. These aren't the fingerprints of desperate criminals. They're the hallmarks of planners, financiers, and strategists operating at a level that history rarely credits to the so-called golden age of piracy. And that's where the danger truly lies. Because if the syndicate's collapse erased the human operators, but left parts of the system intact, then every drill, every borehole, every excavation risks triggering mechanisms no one fully understands anymore. Fail-safes designed centuries ago could still be dormant, waiting for the wrong move. The idea that a single mistake at Oak Island could destabilize another vault, another chamber, or another site somewhere else in the world is no longer unthinkable. It's plausible. That possibility has already changed how the team operates. Every scan is triple-checked. Every dig is debated. Every decision carries consequences not just for Oak Island, but potentially for history itself. Because what's at stake now goes far beyond money. The documents recovered don't just tell the story of pirates, they expose an alternative version of global history, one where outlaw networks quietly shaped trade, politics, and early financial systems from the shadows. A world where stolen wealth didn't disappear into rum-soaked taverns, but was reinvested, laundered, and weaponized. A world where piracy wasn't chaos, it was organization. If even a fraction of this story proves true, textbooks won't just need revisions. Entire chapters would need rewriting. And then there's the part no one likes to talk about. The syndicate didn't just disappear because it failed. It disappeared because it became too powerful. Internal betrayals fractured it. Governments closed in. Alliances collapsed. The men who understood the system were eliminated one by one, executed, imprisoned, or silenced. And with them died the knowledge of how to safely access what they built. That means what remains underground today isn't just hidden. It's orphaned, untended, dangerous, which raises one final, haunting question. Was Oak Island meant to be found at all? Or was it designed as a last line of containment, something meant to stay buried forever, even if the rest of the world forgot it existed? Because buried alongside the gold, the ledgers, and the maps is something far more unsettling. Proof that history doesn't always belong to the winners. Sometimes it belongs to those who learned how to hide it best. As the team stands on the edge of what may be the greatest archaeological and historical discovery of the modern era, the path forward remains uncertain. Do they continue deeper into Oak Island, risking unknown consequences in pursuit of the main capital? Or do they follow the maps and chase a global mystery that could span continents, oceans, and forgotten civilizations? There is no safe choice, only the next one. And whatever comes next, whatever is uncovered or unleashed, will change everything we thought we knew about piracy, power, and the hidden forces that shaped the modern world. This story isn't over. In fact, it may only just be beginning. So if you want to stay with us as this mystery unfolds, if you want to see what history tried to bury and what Oak Island still refuses to give up, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because once the next door opens, there may be no way to close it again.